Under 97.3 Citi FM, I am Umaru Sandamadu, and tonight I'm here with
Akusia Ochre.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes.
And so Oka and all of you, thank you very much. DPR to you, thank you very much. And so for those of you who have not responded yet, please.
President John Dramani Mahama appeals to other businesses to take a cue from GPRTU and reduce prices as the dollar depreciates to 10 cedis. Meanwhile, the GPRTU wants the police to assist it and force fare reductions. We'll be hearing from the union shortly. Also coming up, tidal waves hit southern Volta again, totally submerging some of the communities there. And later on Eyewitness News, Foreign Affairs Minister closes down Ghana Embassy in Washington, D.C. over allegations of fraud by staff there. And in 15 minutes...
Bank of Ghana defends Citi rally as market-driven, insists it is not artificial.
That's from the Citi Business Desk. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a number of affiliate stations. In the Western region, we are on Beach 105.5 FM in Takoradi, as well as Sky 93.5 FM, also in Takoradi. In Bono region, we are on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. In Ahafo region, we are on Hammers Radio 106.5 in Go. So in Ashanti region, we are on Focus 94.3 FM in Kumasi and Orange 107.9 FM also in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we are on Revival 99.3 FM in Tajavu. In the Northern region, we are on Radio Bimbila 91.9 FM in Bimbila. In the Upper East region, we are on Mike 105.3 FM in Navrungo. And in the Upper West region, we are in Jirapa on 96.1 FM. That's Jirapa FM. We are also in Wa on Tungsu 97.3 FM. We are live also around the globe on citinewsroom.com and citifmonline.com. We are on YouTube and we are on Facebook, and we are interactive. Join us with your messages by sending them to WhatsApp number 0549 986 996 0549 986 996. On Twitter, mention me at Umaru Sanda or at Citi973. Use the hashtag Eyewitness News and the world will hear what you think. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru Sandamadu here with Akusia Ochre, who brings us our first story.
Now, President John Dramani Mahama has urged the business community to pass on the benefits of the city's recent appreciation to consumers through reduced prices of goods and services. He said government remains committed to sustaining the current economic recovery, which has begun to reflect in improved currency stability and easing inflation. On speaking at the 9th Ghana CEO Summit in Accra, President John Mahama commended businesses that have already adjusted their prices downward and encouraged others to do so.
Government's part, I wish to assure you that we will maintain the current fiscal discipline and work to maintain a conducive environment for your businesses to thrive. Let me take the opportunity to commend those of you who have responded to the city's appreciation by reducing prices of your products and services and thereby passing some of the relief from the hardship to Ghanaians. And so Oka and all of you, thank you very much. DPR to you, thank you very much. And so for those of you who have not responded yet, please pass on some of the city appreciation to Ghanaians. The time has come for us to lift the gloom, to restore confidence, and to build again. And as I said in my inauguration, Ghana is open for business again.
That was President John Dramani Mahama. He also stated that his previous administration laid a solid foundation for Ghana's economy, particularly in stabilizing the bonds market and enhancing investor confidence. Or he argued that the framework his government established for debt repayments was dismantled by the last administration, which contributed significantly to the economic challenges experienced between 2020 and 2022.
We introduced medium and long-term domestic bonds, listed them on the Ghana Stock Exchange, and operationalized the Central Securities Depository to improve transparency and liquidity. We went further. Ghana became one of the few African countries to issue a $200 million denominated domestic bond, a strategic innovation that supported our smart borrowing initiative. And I'm happy to say that bond was oversubscribed. Simultaneously, we access external capital markets responsibly. From 2013 to 2016, Ghana issued 4 Eurobonds, all without default, and these were anchored in a sinking fund mechanism designed to ensure repayment. We applied over 335 million from our oil-funded sinking fund to settle maturing Eurobond liabilities.
That was President John Dramani Mahama.
We'll be going back to that story, but let's do a quick detour and go to the capital of the United States of America, Washington, D.C., where there's some development relating to our embassy there. Now, the Minister for Foreign Affairs and MP for Northtown, the Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, has issued a statement, and I'm going to read excerpts of that for you. The statement says, with the firm support of President Mahama, I have carried out the following drastic and decisive actions following the damning findings of a special audit team I put together a couple of months ago to investigate alleged corrupt practices at Ghana's embassy in Washington, D.C. 1. The immediate dismissal of Mr. Fred Kwatin. Mr. Fred Kwatin was a local staff recruited on August 11, 2017 to work in the embassy's IT department. According to findings and his own admission, he created an unauthorized link on the embassy's website which diverted visa and passport applicants to his company, Ghana Travel Consult, where he charged extra for multiple services on the blind side of the ministry and kept the entire proceeds in his private account. His illegal extra charges, which were not approved by the ministry and Parliament as required under the Fees and Charges Act, ranges from $29 to $60 per applicant. The investigations revealed that he and his collaborators operated this illegal scheme for at least 5 years. This conduct has been reported to the Attorney General for possible prosecution and retrieval of funds obtained through fraudulent schemes. 2. All Ministry of Foreign Affairs staff posted to Washington Embassy have been recalled home with immediate effect. The embassy's IT department has been promptly dissolved. All locally recruited staff at the embassy have been suspended. The Auditor General has been invited to conduct forensic examination of all transactions and to determine the total cost of this elaborate fraudulent scheme. Ghana's embassy in Washington, D.C. shall be closed for a few days from today as we finalize the ongoing restructuring and systems overhaul. Any inconvenience these radical measures may cause visa and passport applicants is regretted. President Mahama's government will continue to demonstrate zero tolerance for corruption, naked conflict of interest, and blatant abuse of office. More updates to follow soon. So that's a statement from Minister for Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. What's the reaction from all fronts following this announcement to shut down our embassy? And let's just understand this. Sami Wiafi, please help us here. He understands the workings of a lot of our foreign missions. Sami, so the Washington D.C. Embassy, is that the only one we have in the U.S.?
No, we have two. So there's the New York one, and there's one in Washington as well. So we want 2 embassies in the United States of America.
Because many people are asking the question, okay, so what happens to my passport? What happens to my visa applications if they've shut down or closed down the embassy in Washington, D.C.? What happens?
So as the minister, stated, it's just for a few days. And I'm sure after these particular investigations, the ministry or government will take a firm decision on when next to open the embassy. And so if your passport's application or anything there or a visa there, perhaps you may have to wait for a little while because of the announcement made by the minister. And so after a proper announcement, when you can go in there and retrieve your passport and your visas and the rest.
Based on what you know, can people go to New York then?
The New York office is also open, but in terms of the issuance of visa, and the embassy will determine where you can go and do those ones.
Thank you so much. Sami Wiafe is my colleague here in the Citi Newsroom. Let's go on the phone line and speak to Nana Asafo-Adjei. He's Deputy Ranking Member on the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament. Nana, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you. I'm a good friend and brother Omar.
Good evening to you, and good friend who has abandoned me.
I'm doing well. How are you doing too?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you receiving this news of a shutting down of our embassy in Washington, D.C.? It sounds bizarre.
Omar, thank you very much. I'm grateful for this opportunity. And like I said, I am greeting your listeners and your cherished viewers. Omar, we in principle support the minister. In principle, support the government. that if there is anyone within our public sector, within our diplomatic environment, within our missions, that is doing something untoward, perpetuating illegalities or fraud, the system must deal with that person. The system must deal with those persons. So we support the decision and the action. What we found, or what has left us so dumbfounded, is a few details that we want to clarify. Number one, it is clear that our missions do not only do visa issuing or passport processing. No, our embassies go beyond that. The embassies, we have trade attaches, we have scholarships, we have a lot of diplomatic and strategic dialogues and all that. In fact, the embassy represents. So you cannot come out to say that you've shut down an embassy, not any embassy, Washington, because of visa or passport issues, which is one aspect or the consulate part of the mission or the embassy. We disagree. Why do you do that? There couldn't have been any way. No.
The only way is to shut down and fix it and then reopen it.
No, you see, you can fix it without shutting it down. Like I told you, I just told you that the embassy do not. It is like you are telling me that the whole your station, the network, the brand name, the bigger umbrella. You're telling me that if one of your areas is having a problem or there's a challenge, you shut down the entire system because you want to fix one of them.
What if you notice that it's a cancer that is spreading, and so the best way to cut it is to shut it down and then cut it off or remove it, and then you come back online.
Then you are killing the entire living organism.
Don't forget that the minister said this is something that has been in operation for 5 years. That's a long time.
You see, let me give you an example, Maru. Let me give you an example. When there was a time, I don't want to politicize this, and I do not like politicizing international and diplomatic matters. When there was a certain time where when there is a delegation, a government travel, you see a leader of delegation taking a visa for a number of people. They travel and then he leaves a few of them there and comes back to Ghana. It became one issue that the entire embassies blacklisted Ghana. When a different government took over, what was done? There was a meeting called to engage all the ambassadors and tell them, let us agree on these modalities. When people are traveling, the leader of delegation must sign an undertaking. The leader of delegation must give an sureties. The leader of delegation must ensure that the delegation comes back, and the delegation must sign at the embassy that they have reported back. These were internal measures. Umaru and the Ghanaians didn't know that this was the imagery of Ghana outside there. But now what you are putting out is giving Ghana a certain publication and publicity that we could have averted. That is why I keep saying, and I'm saying that, look, you can do this with the Ministry of Foreign, Lands and Natural Resources. You can do this with communication. You can do this with any other ministry. But the foreign ministry, that is why it is attached to it that this ministry is diplomatic. It's diplomacy. That is for you require a certain thoughtfulness and a certain discussion. But we are not against the decision to cleanse the system. We are not against the decision to make sure that things are right and Ghanaians are served well. But what we are saying is that in doing so, do not give us a bad publicity. Today, everybody across the country is discussing Ghana. Why? Because we have shut down our embassy because of visa fraud. That is the image. You think that Americans will trust us? You think that other missions will be comfortable dealing with us when we are telling them that we couldn't deal with our internal controls? That is the point we are making here.
I know that.
Agree with the minister.
I know that government is a continuum, but locally it would be eggs in your face that you had this Fred Quatin person in the employ of the embassy since 2017 when you were in government, and this person has been engaging in, if we should go by what the minister's findings are, has been engaging in fraud. Just let me land with a question.
Okay.
And you failed to prune him, and now he possibly has grown so many branches that is difficult to deal with. And so the minister says the situation must be fixed. It doesn't matter whose ox is gored, and that's what he's doing. So perhaps they would see us, those people you are worried about, they will see us as a no-nonsense. Perhaps they will say that this new government is a no-nonsense government.
You see, like I told you, and I've given you a classical example, that you see, the diplomatic environment, excuse my language, and forgive me if I don't use my words rightly, they are much more smarter than some of these things, and I am not, maybe, you see, it will be difficult for you to tell me that the SWAL administration was aware of the happenings and allowed the happenings to continue. That would be
it would be a bigger problem if the SWAL administration was not aware. That's even a bigger problem, don't you think?
So now there is a new government, and the new government has been able to identify these things. Kudos to the government. The government has our support to deal with the matter. We are not against the government dealing with the matter. No, let that impression not be created. No. Look, if the person has to be jailed, if there are corroborators that have to be jailed, we support it. Those corroborators must be jailed. Even if they have to extend it to their generations and whatever, it must be done. I agree. Government, yes, one or two people might do some things in the government that we all know. Even this current government, one or two things must go on that they might not see, and somebody else would see. What is important is that we deal with it, and we support the decision to deal with it. Reservations with is that in dealing with this very sensitive matter of diplomatic nature, you must be tactful. That is all. That is all. And if somebody thinks that, oh well, we are not happy about this thing, I disagree. I am one key advocate that is advocating that the charges and the fees for the visa for our diasporans, the charges for passport is way expensive. It is on record. When the minister was in parliament, I raised it. I mentioned it when we are approving the budget for the ministry. I raised it. That look, the charges for the visas and the passport for diasporans are expensive. Let's look at it. So let it not be said or seen or assume that we are against these things. No, we are only saying that we could have waken up to another message or news. The minister could have sent an envoy straight to Washington with every details there. Pick up the perpetrators, move them back to Ghana, give them out to the various ministries or embassy agencies that are supposed to deal with such crimes, and then before you are even going, you set up a new team to go on and take over, and then you cleanse the system, you put up your new system that you believe that the system works better.
So you are essentially promoting a hush affair where crime has been discovered, and that because we do not want to look bad in the eyes of the international community, if we discover that there was a syndicate engaging in crime or fraud at our embassy at an important country and an important city like Washington, D.C., let's hush it. Let's bring them back home and deal with them here and replace them quickly. Not tell anybody. That's your school of thought.
Do not assume that me saying bringing them back home means that I do not want us to deal with the matter. No, I've told you.
But you don't want us to deal with it publicly. That's your core.
You see, I am telling you that there are evidence to the fact that those issues that come up publicly do not even end up the way we want them. And there are a lot of examples that we come out to put. This one have done this. These are crime. These are corruption. The next 2-3 days, it's dead and gone. So
at least it is uncovered. We know about it.
So what will happen to you when you know about it? And then
for instance, we know that when there's a tournament, a football tournament, the issue of visa acquisition and procurement is a subject of scandals, and so in the future when we are going to a tournament like the one that is going to happen in the US, we would all be guided by the fact that when we went to Australia, this is what happens, and so let's be guided. And so in the future we would also say that let's keep an eye on all our embassies.
You do not shut down the entire country because there is a visa problem. That is the point I'm making to you. Deal with the matters, let the issues be there, but do not shut down an entire country, because the embassies out there are the embodiment of the country out there. So you shut down the entire country because you have discovered fraudulent matters or fraudulent issues within the consulate part of your embassy. So you shut down the entire country. That is what we feel, that there could have been some better engagement to deal with this thing, to make sure that these things are done without necessarily putting out a bad imagery about the country. That's all.
Very well.
So if you think that, that is not okay for you, you want us to go and say that is fine. But from my diplomatic experience, from what I've learned, from what I've read and all this, you hardly do these things yourself.
Thank you.
Maybe it is only for propaganda, it is only for self-aggrandizement, you want people to see you are working, that's fine.
Or for expose purposes.
No, for expose purposes, like we have been doing. Then they are fine, you can do that. But don't forget that it has a long-lasting ramification on the image of the country.
Now let me ask you one question before you go. Okay. So, perceived corruption in the judiciary, perceived corruption in the police service. Anas goes undercover, brings out a big expose. The whole world gets to know that, Sana, this is what happens in our judiciary, this is what happens in our Ghana, in our football, this is what happens in our police service. If you had your way, Anas's videos should not go to town, right? It should be dealt with privately.
I am not saying that. I'm telling you that these issues you are looking at them differently. This is more or less a diplomatic matter. I'm saying that first and foremost, you do not close the entire embassy down because you have an expose to show. No, that is fair. So let that be on record. Number two, I am saying that from my experience and from what I've seen and from the country we live in, much more than we have seen, a lot of the razzmatazz don't give us results. So,
okay.
What do we gain by doing all these things and not getting the desired result? I agree, you want to do the expose, then go ahead and do the expose. But open the embassies. Have you averted your minds to the cost of closing the embassies? Have you averted your mind to all the things, the inconveniences that it is going to cost to the Ghanaian and to the international public? That is all we are saying. We can go ahead and do the exposés. That is what we enjoy. That's fine.
Very well. Thank you.
Let the embassy work.
Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you.
That's Honorable Nana Asafoeje. He's an NPP Member of Parliament for Bosume Frehun. He's a Deputy Ranking Member on the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Let me bring some of your messages before we take a break. And this message from Koku Bansa says shutting down an entire embassy due to fraud in one unit might be seen as disproportionate, especially if the issue could be addressed through targeted measures like staff suspension or system audits without halting all operations. This one says, kindly ask the Foreign Affairs Minister or anyone responsible why the mandate of issuing visas is not being handled by the Ghana Immigration Service as international best practice. As it is being practiced now, these visas are issued by the Research Department, which is not best practice. They should hand it to the Immigration for Professional Services. Surfers in Seattle, USA says, is there no difference between closed and shut down? The minister says the place is closed for a few days and that MPP MP is lamenting that the embassy is shut down. Give us a break, NPP. Mosia Iribi Esther from Volta region says Ghanaians support the closure of the embassy in Washington, D.C. It is essential to curb corruption, especially visa and passport fraud. Honorable Samukujo Tablakwa called for terminating IT staff appointment and underscores our commitment to transparency and integrity. More messages coming through. I'll be reading them for you. Niajiti says, sending a message from Agbogba says, what is the ranking member saying? Is he really serious? NPP, I'm not sure I can read that. He says, the minister has done the right thing. Akapoy from Ahafo says, the government must not be in a hurry to compel or urge businesses to reduce prices of the goods. Stringent measures must be taken to rather sustain the appreciation of the cedi, which will automatically have ripple effects on the economy. Kennedy Onipayede says the government must enforce the law to make sure that all traders comply with the directive to reduce prices of commodities. And Nana Kwame from Drobo says, It is baffling that drivers in the German South and German North area of the Bono region have blatantly refused to reduce transport fares in line with the directive, and that's actually going to be our next story. He says, according to the drivers, they will only reduce the lorry fares if the government fixes the deplorable Brekum-Drobo Sampa road. Interestingly, authorities are looking on while the drivers perpetuate such impunity. That's actually the story that Akusia is going to tell us about this.
Yes, despite a 15% fare reduction directive from the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU, in response to falling fuel prices, compliance among commercial drivers remains inconsistent. While although some operators in and outside Accra have adjusted their fares, many others are still charging the old rates. Passengers who spoke to Citi News shared mixed views.
They used to take a fare of 33 cedis for summer, but now the fare is 30 cedis.
The car was coming from La Paz to Hadaka. It was from La Paz. So we thought that there was a decrement, at least we know that was 50%. But he went on to take the normal fare.
We won't reduce the lorry fare. It will not help us at all. We buy shock absorbers weekly, so we beg you with the reduction. We have not reduced the rate, and we will not reduce it. The transport leadership does not work on the road. We do, so we know what the reality is. If the fuel prices go up, we won't change the price of our fares.
You had the reactions from some drivers and passengers.
Let's go on the phone lines and speak to Abbas Moro. He's PRO of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU. Mr. Moro, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you for calling.
Does it mean that you didn't consult your members before you made the announcement? Because it appears they are defying your directive to reduce their transport fares.
If you say so, I will disagree with you.
Okay.
They are not defying. I heard some of the people say they have experienced reduction, and some say at their places they haven't reduced. That doesn't mean they have defied. Yes, we have some few recalcitrant drivers who have decided not to. But by then, are they doing the right thing? The answer is no. Each time we increase lorry fares, they immediately embrace it. And it is the same law who backs us to reduce when it is necessary. So we'll just plead with them to rescind their decision. And I will pray that the law catches up with them. I won't pray for that. That when worst come to worst, I mean, we are not in the lawless country. That means the law must take its course, because whenever we meet and negotiate in the presence of transport ministry, who also defend the citizens, it becomes law for all of us to abide by that. So we know that you can't get a whole family without any negative thinker in the family. Occasionally, we have some of these people that we want to do it in a polite way and make sure they comply with the existing reduction.
You say you are pleading with them. It appears your pleas are not being listened to, because you started pleading since Saturday when you imposed this reduction. The drivers, for instance, like the one that has just been told, the message I received from Sampa, Drobo, and all of those places, they are and the other voices that we played for you, they are clearly not interested in reducing, and their reason is that the cost of spare parts has not reduced, and so they do not see the point. They also say that the quality of the roads have not improved. These are all some of the reasons that they are citing for refusing to reduce the fares. You are pleading, but they appear not to be listening to your plea.
Yes, when you live in a glass house, I don't think you should be throwing stones to some people outside the house. Definitely, we shall throw stones to you as well. It is a law now for all of us to go by the current 15%. Now what I'm saying is, if you are working on a bad road, that is different. You have to negotiate with your opinion leaders within that stretch of the road. At times, this is what we do. We talk and we agree, oh, let's do some 50 pesos, some 10 pesos, or some 20 pesos, and we live happily. But if you are saying they haven't reduced spare parts, once upon a time, it was this fuel that went up, and we stood on the fuel and increased lorry fares. Was that a crime? If that time wasn't a crime, why today the reduction becomes a crime? So those who are saying they're having the reduction on spare parts, so we are not taking the new, it's just unfortunate. We have other components as well, which has experienced reduction. But fuel has been reduced as low as 18%. We give us that mandate to consider the passengers who are our clients as well. So it will be unfortunate for a colleague driver to say yes, because I have noticed that of the fuel. But where is that of the spare part? Meanwhile, the fuel has been reduced significantly to the extent that yes, what we did was right. So it's just unfortunate. You see, at times, if you haven't entangled with the law, you think there is no law protecting us. But if you do, then you see that you are doing the wrong thing. I will use the hawkers on the street as an example. Until we asked for, most of them say they never knew it was an offense to do business in the middle of the street or on the pedestrian walkway. But now they are aware that should they be taken to court, they could be fined or sentenced to some months in prison or to both. Our brothers should not wait till that experience happens on us. We are just pleading with them to comply and make sure we all live happily.
I have seen elsewhere that the GPRTU plans to invite the police to help them. Can you confirm that?
I have been saying all along that no passenger should bounce on the driver and the mate. There are only two people. And what you said is, if the driver decides to cheat on you, not to reduce it, invite the police, let the police help you, and they will become over there. This is what we said, that nobody should beat a recalcitrant driver and his mate. Because you might also fall foul to the law. If you do that, you will fall foul to the law. But rather hand the issue over to the police, and there will be sanity.
But will you call the police yourselves to help you enforce it, so that your drivers who are refusing, would you report them to the police?
My brother, I have not been cheated. You, the passenger who has been cheated, you want me to come from somewhere and come and do that for you? My brother, they say God help those who help themselves. We are in a country where we are being governed by laws, we are being protected by laws. So the passengers should do that. They should be in a position to do that for themselves.
Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Thank you for calling, my brother.
That's Abbas Moro. He's PRO of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, GPRTU. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We'll be back with more. Please stay.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Fun fact. Did you know that most frogs can leap more than 20 times their body length? Yup, magical. Now just imagine your business with that kind of reach. Take that leap with Frog. Frog is a bulk SMS, voice messaging, and IVR from Wiggle. User-friendly, fast, and reliable. Get more features on one platform for all your bulk messaging needs. Whether you're a church, financial institution, school, corporate organization, or individual, if you need to reach people with your services, do it with Frog. Contact 0553 019 529 or 0552 809 558. Speak to us at www.wiggle.com.gh. Frog, a leap into greatness.
Are you ready to lead like never before?
Ready to master the art of strategy and inspire teams that thrive?
It's the Management Bootcamp 2025.
An exclusive high-impact training for mid to senior pros.
Learn from Ghana's finest industry minds, brought to you by Channel 1 TV and 97.3 Citi FM.
From the trusted voices of excellence, Citi FM and Channel 1 TV comes an elite training experience designed to sharpen your strategy, leadership, and communication.
Make a date for the Management Bootcamp 2025 from Sunday the 22nd of June to Saturday the 28th of June 2025. The venue is the Platinum Bay and Passion Base Hotels.
Call 0242-011-424 to register now.
The Management Bootcamp 2025. Lead forward. The Management Bootcamp 2025 is powered by Channel 1 TV with support from 97.3 Citi FM.
Sankofa pepper powder, Sankofa pepper powder, Sankofa pepper powder. Abuna abonje krakra, Sankofa pepper powder, Sankofa pepper powder.
Are you feeling tired after a hard day's work? Have you lost your appetite even for your favorite dish? Viral Blood Tonic is a nutritionally balanced, pleasant-tasting tonic fortified with iron and vitamins to boost your appetite and energy levels for high performance. Viral Blood Tonic, easy to take and good for the family. Viral from Danex Iting Starwin PLC. If symptoms persist after 48 hours, consult a physician. This advert is FDA approved.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Now, residents of Agaveji in the Ketu South municipality of the Volta region have been displaced after tidal waves destroyed their homes. The high tides have also submerged parts of the main road, now covered in sand and seawater. Some social amenities, including school buildings, are at risk of collapse as the waves continue to erode the coastline. Let's go to the Ketu South municipality and speak to Francis Ejona Mensah. He's a journalist who is also from that particular community. He's joined us on the line. Ejona, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much, Andy.
Now, Ketu South, that would be very generic. Specifically, which towns or communities have been affected and how bad is the situation?
Thank you very much. Today, we are talking about, we are going to focus more on Agaveji community. Initially, we know of Amuchinu, Salakofa area. Just two communities on the stretch. But since last week, we have seen the beginning of the devastation where the sea has risen and causing more havoc within Salakofa and Amuchinu. But today, when we go to the scene, the disaster scene has moved from Salakofa a little bit to Agaveji itself. And the whole Agaveji stretch, like about 200 meters, has been submerged into the sea. The whole area has been blocked by the sea. Not only the sea waters, but the sun from the sea have taken over the entire stretch. So cars that are moving from Keta to Aplahu could not make it, connected through Salakofa, Amuchim to Adina, and then move on to Keta. The same way, those cars that are moving from Aplahu section could not make their way through Agaveji area and connecting to Blekusu all the way to Keta. So the resident assembly member and then the MC for the area were on the ground since morning trying to assist motorists and passengers, especially asking them to divert. And they were diverting the road before you get to Agaveji proper through the Keta Lagoon complex and you go and connect to Haveji area. So talking about the disaster, as we speak, the situation is so bad that people, businesses, properties have gone into the sea. We have seen old century graveyards, graves, caskets, human bodies were opened up. As we speak, or as of yesterday, we are told that the body that were buried few weeks ago were able to be moved. They moved them to the other side, the lagoon side. But that place too is not safe because the lagoon or the sea is still moving to those areas. And I've seen a lot of coffins, caskets, debris of them, not only in the sea, but all over. And they have opened the whole place. And it's causing a lot of damage. And the situation is so bad that the high tension moving from Delhi to Keta direction all are within the lagoon. So within the sea. So the sea water are taking over the entire stretch of the road. And we know of the Salakofan and Amuchi where we understand, or we know the Amuchi school particular has been hit by the sea to the extent that you can't even go behind the school. When in the classroom, the sea water could easily splash on you in the classroom. But as we speak today, the sea has moved a little bit away from Salakofa to Agaveji proper, where we understand that Salakofa have an old forest that was there. Last year, I was there. 2 weeks ago, I was there. That forest was somehow there. But as we speak, the whole forest, big trees, has been destroyed, all moving to the sea. So currently, the people are only saying that it is not about making statements on the floor of parliament. It is not about MC or MP or government or GM for no matter coming to them to ask them to hold on. It's about the fact that the Ministry of Finance released funds as provided in the budget to quickly move there and rescue people. I've seen bulldozers working on the ground trying to collect the sand on the road for cars to pass. But it's difficult for that to be done because once you take the sand, the moment you move, then the sea again bring more sand and more water to the road. So it's difficult and it's a recurring situation that it's difficult for people to comprehend what will happen this year, especially if people have lost almost every home. And that's stand on the roadside, really where to move to. So as a student of the situation, it's so bad and dangerous that if care is not taken, we may lose a community of Agaveji, you may even lose Salakopa, you may even lose Amuchi, and if care is not taken, portion of country south, the entire stretch, we may even lose the entire place. But once the sea get into the lagoon complex, as we speak now, it's cashed into the lagoon. Once we get there, only God knows how the lagoon will flow. And
the sea, how far into the community did the sea go? For instance, would you say from where the coastline was at Akramo, it came all the way to 37, for instance, or maybe to La Paz, or maybe to Temamoto where the end, or maybe Medina or East Legon? I mean, what would be the distance?
Oh, that's short. You can easily see the sea just where the new station is now. The question about. So this the station around the Medina side, and the opposite Akramo. So that station.
So it's not a wide expanse then that it covered of land that the sea covered. At all. But there were people living there, so they have to leave. They've been okay. Now immediately the solution is to build what? A guard, a sea defense project, isn't it? That's the solution,
exactly
isn't it? But that's not something that can be done overnight.
Exactly so.
So it's a long and difficult construction to engage in to prevent the sea from coming into the homes. In the meantime, the people who have been displaced, what's happening to them? Do you know where they are putting up? Is NADMO helping? What's the situation?
Yeah, for some time now, NADMO has put up a place at the high place at the lagoon side, the other side of the town. But the issue is that even accessing that place becomes difficult because the seawater has gushed into the area. So the heavy duty cars, apart from saloon cars that can move using the streets, using the lagoon to the safer zone, other cars could not access that. Like those tractors, Hyundai Grace cars that are loading 15 or 14 passengers could not even access the road using the lagoon side. Because talking about the closeness of the road to the sea or the closeness of the sea to the road, it's just a matter of counting about 100 foot, you just count like 100 feet, you can easily enter the sea. In fact, when you are standing on the road, the sea water, the wave can easily splash on you. So it's not something that we can talk about the fact that we can wait or something like that. No. You know the sea different project almost end at Agaveji. And when you stand at Agaveji, you can easily see the corner where the defense ended. You could see the rock. And you can easily see that because of the high level of the sea, even the crane that they have done, the sea it was able to even run over it. It was running over it, but the water was just like overflowing because like the pressure on the other side, at Agaveji side. So it's just flowing over the road. Even when you're in the vehicle, it's easy for cars, water is just splashing you. So it's too close to the sea that, or the sea is close to the main road, to the extent that you cannot even be at the other side of the road and count yourself living at a safe place. Because between the sea and the main road and the other side of the road, which is also at the lagoon side, it is something very tiny. Very, very tiny. And you know, when sea rises, it's easy, it's difficult to predict in the night. Because night is the day that the sea works very, very hard. And when night starts, you cannot predict what will happen this evening. Because it's always the night that the sea rises to the level that it can cause havoc.
Thank you for. I can hear noise in the background. Is it the case that people are moving their belongings? Is that what's happening?
Oh yes, people are moving their cooking utensils. In fact, people actually intentionally has destroyed their property. They tend to remove some roofing sheet. You want to carry things that when you move to the other side of the road, they can set up, their own structure. Even the bricks, they even remove some of the bricks. When you go there, you clearly see that the entire community has been destroyed. You only see cement blocks. People have removed cement blocks and they rescue some from the sea and pack them at the roadside to either to be sold or to be moved to another place to rebuild their own structure. So for money, people are trying to rescue whatever they have, especially their clothes and their belongings.
Okay.
So as you speak now, no car is moving.
Thank you.
The NC was there pleading with the government that as it stands now, they must only come to start the work. It is not about we are preparing or we are coming. No. NADMO, government, finance ministry must just move in and release. And one more thing, the NC told me that since Parliament is moving tomorrow, they are expecting nothing apart from disaster happening in Tetu South now. Something needs to be done in Parliament, must make it very clear, not only in speech, but there must be a devoted money to move in quickly. As we have one bulldozer there, they need more machines to start work now. And that's what they want. They don't want to hear anything. And when you hear that seminar for the area was crying to the government that look, it's about time that they start work.
All right.
It's not about just talking anymore.
Thank you so much, Ejona, and do take care of yourself.
Thank you.
That's Francis Ejona Mensah. He's a journalist reporting for us from the Ketu South municipality, where tidal waves have displaced many people in communities such as Agaveji, Amoshino, and Selakope, as he's been explaining there to us. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. On the Ashanti Regional NPP, Chairman Bernard Entry Bosiakun, popularly known as Chairman Wuntumi, is officially is being investigated by the state agencies for his alleged role in illegal mining activities. In April this year, the government revoked the mining lease of Aguntak Mining Company, owned by Chairman Wuntumi, following revelations of the company's involvement in illegal mining, commonly known as Galamsey, within protected forest reserves. Chairman Wuntumi honored an invitation to the police CID headquarters today, where his caution statement was taken. He was granted bail with 2 sureties and is expected to report again to the CID tomorrow. Let's listen to what he said after these initial meetings.
Illegal mining. Now said the Galamsey until made the lances no at the chair or ama omu you also do almost I can say the year Juma I war forest and also my catch up say anyamia the conquer year Juma I war forest be I is so more evidence omu bet me at the ashred now maybe may apply lances for her as also forestry commission and then lands commission and then mines commission Omo yese omo de honam forestry commission for so omo nhwe ho. Enti omo ana eye custodian na omo ye responsible omo hwe eho nko ho da. Sisi obi ye adwuma wo ho ne ade a anye midimu anye bibia enunu ana ewie ye no omo ama bill 2 sureties ana sisi Yama bill,
how much is the bill?
I can't say, Yama bill, 2 sureties.
What was that about Cocoa Board, any company I hold my dealings with?
No. Cocoa Board. And no credit, some of Cocoa Board for secret. Obia no sawo, no papa ye. Roda, and you're buying a mouse car. And your woman now do sika, a contractor no. When I do sika, a corner.
Chairman Woon to me, his real name is Bernard Enchibosi, his role NPP Regional Chairman, Ashanti Region, and he was speaking in Chi. Let me summarize for you some of the things he said. He said he was invited to the headquarters and questioned about his alleged involvement in illegal mining. He showed them his license, which he acquired to operate the Akonta mining, and explained that he does not or did not engage in illegal mining or galamsey. According to him, after the interrogation, he was granted bail with 2 sureties, and he also said he has never taken money from Cocoa Board and that their claim is completely false. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Makosia.
Now, the former board chairman of Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, GIIF, Professor Ameyaw Ekumfi, has pleaded not guilty to counts of willfully causing financial loss to the state, intentional dissipation of public funds, and conspiracy to commit crime. Well, this is after he failed on to previous occasions to appear before the court because of medical emergencies. And Professor Ameyaw Ekumfi and Solomon Asamoah are on trial for same offenses of causing $2 million of state funds to be transferred into the private accounts of Africa Investor Holdings for the purposes of constructing a sky train without authorization and due diligence. Now, away from that, the High Court in Kumasi has acquitted Joabing NPP Chairman Alexander Safo Kantanka of all 26 bribery charges. He was accused of attempting to bribe assembly members to secure approval as municipal chief executive. Now, the charges follows a viral video showing him demanding a refund after his nomination was rejected. But the court ruled that there was no direct evidence linking the NPP chairman to bribery. His lawyer, Kwame Adomapia, described the legal ordeal as traumatic for his client.
Through a lot of trauma, you don't know whether you'll be found guilty or you'll be acquitted. And the prosecution brought about 26 charges. At the close of their case, we raised a submission of no case. 23 of the charges were set aside as not having found the threshold of the prosecution proving its case. And we were asked to open our case on 3 of the charges. And at the end of the full trial, God being so good, my client has been set free. He's been acquitted and discharged. And for that matter, we give thanks and praise to the Almighty God.
That was counsel for the NPP chairman for Joabing, Kwame Adomapia, Alexander Kwabena Safo Kantanka.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Oh, jump on go. Google me. At what time when you come back, we are not hear the sound of your car. Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Cause now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mindset be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open there.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info, make a fill the gobe too small.
Go! go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Charlie, where are you?
Boss man, I'm at the bank.
Really? But your car is in front of your house.
Bro, my bank on my phone, Charlie.
Oh, how?
EcoBank, bro. With EcoBank mobile app, I can do everything, anywhere, anytime. Listen, I just checked my account balance, paid Ahmed's school fees, and sent money to my grandma at Wale.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Massa, just download the EcoBank mobile app from the Google Play Store or the App Store, or dial *770# and be your own bank manager.
Manager.
Whether to pay bills or fees, to check account statements, send money across Ghana, abroad, and more, EcoBank mobile app has got it covered. EcoBank Mobile, making everyday people live everyday lives the EcoBank way. EcoBank, the Pan-African bank.
New Kivo Hot Pepper Powder. Loco shoe. This advert is FDA approved. Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Hello, it's Monday. Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I am Akosia Otre. The details. The Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Isiama has dismissed claims that a recent appreciation of the Ghana cedi is being artificially engineered by the central bank. Dr. Isiama attributed the strengthening of the cedi to improving macroeconomic fundamentals and sound policy decisions and not market manipulation. The strong performance of the local currency in recent weeks has triggered speculations of deliberate central bank intervention. But addressing business leaders at the 9th Ghana CEO Summit, the governor noted that the gains reflect genuine investor confidence and robust monetary management.
Our gross international reserves have improved to about $11 billion, which is equivalent to 4.2 months of import cover. And the cedi, our cedi, has appreciated by 24.1% against the US dollar on year-to-date terms. Now, colleagues, let me emphasize that the central bank is not, and the not is in capital letters. The central bank is not using its international reserves to support the cedi, nor are we engineering an appreciation in the cedi that will not be sustainable. It's all market driven, and the strengthening of the currency reflects a blend of disciplined monetary policy, tailored foreign forex auction reforms, enhanced remittance channels, and stricter market surveillance. These are not mere short-term interventions.
Dr. Johnson Isiama is governor of the Bank of Ghana. Meanwhile, President John Dramani Mahama has outlined an 8-point economic reset agenda with bold reforms to restore investor confidence and also drive a strong post-crisis recovery.
Ghana has what it takes to recover, not by repeating the past mistakes, but by learning from it and innovating for the future. Let me outline 8 key pillars of the economic reset that we envisage. Number 1 is completing the IMF program with discipline. We'll continue the discipline in government expenditure and borrowing and work to achieve all targets under the extended credit fund with a program with the IMF. We expect to conclude the 4th review of the IMF program in June 2025 with a target to exit at the end of the program in 2026. And thereafter, we'll participate in Article 4 consultations and adopt the policy support instrument framework, signaling Ghana's return to responsible, non-borrowing engagement with the fund.
President John Dramani Mahama. Now, the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association Greater says prices of houses are unlikely to decline anytime soon, despite recent gains by the city. Well, according to Greater, the cost of construction remains high as suppliers and importers have not adjusted building material prices in line with the appreciation of the city against the dollar. Well, Executive Director of Greater Sami Amegaibo has been speaking to Citi Business News.
If you go on the market, you realize that much as the city has gained strength, nothing has really changed in terms of pricing of building materials and generally everything that we buy. When the iron rods, the cement prices, or the input prices remain where they are, in some cases, some are even going higher. What is the justification for the importer to make it difficult for them to reduce?
That was the Executive Director of Greater Samuel Amegaibo. Now, users of ride-hailing apps should not expect a cut in fares despite recent gains in the city and falling fuel prices. Well, that's according to the Ghana Online Drivers Union, which says it was not consulted in the Ghana Private Road Transport Union's decision to implement a 15% fare reduction across public transport services. Francis Tinge is president of the union.
What the GPRT did does not include us. We've been that the case being that we've not been consulted. We are not part of them. So we, the users of Uber, Bolt, and Yango, we have a union, but our union is not being recognized by GPRT or trade union. Although we have applied since 2021 to be affiliated with TUC, we've not yet gotten that accreditation. And so with GPRTU giving this directive, it doesn't include us, such that Uber doesn't know GPRTU, Bolt and Yango, they don't know GPRTU.
That was president of the Ghana Union. Ghana Online Drivers Union, I beg your pardon, Francis Tinge, speaking there with Citi Business News. But that's how we wrap up this edition of the Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. I'm Akosi Archer. Do stay with us. Up next is Point Blank.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Afternoon.
Oh, afternoon.
Please, Momo.
Deposit or withdrawal?
Withdrawal.
Ah, I like how you say withdrawal. How much?
500 Ghana.
Why allow cash out?
Yes.
I feel ball number no mami why?
0241 789.
Ah, nice one. Approve.
Please, the agent's name, is it Mipiska Bebre to Coin Ventures?
Hey, into what body ni na?
She. My let I have to verify.
Always confirm the name of the person you are receiving money from before accepting a request. If you receive a request from a friend to send money to an unfamiliar number, call to confirm before taking action. Do not share your number with strangers for the purpose of receiving e-cash in exchange for physical cash, because the source could be criminal and result in legal actions against you.
MTN.
Polytech is everywhere, durable and authentic. Stronger brand you can trust. Polytech, we get Sumo, Rambo, and get Sumo Super. And the Polytech, we did. Polytech, Papa no, Papa no, Papa no, Papa no, Papa no, Ankasa. Polytech, the original, always the best.
Oh, jump on now. Go, the go. Google me. At what time will you come back where I don't hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car? No, I don't change my car. It be the same, right? It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so. This is the type of fuel where they want to. Cause now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir. Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what a boss my mind said,
self be the 3-in-1 action no. Excellium they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a feel the gobe too small.
Go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
This is Point Blank on Eyewitness News. I am Umaru Sandamado. Tonight on Point Blank, the Citi is doing so well against the dollar. And there are calls for a reduction in the cost of goods or prices of goods as a result of same. But that's one of many issues the President John Dramani Mahama talked about today when he spoke at the 9th Ghana CEO Summit and Expo in Accra. He celebrated the businesses and unions that have already reduced their charges and urged others to do the same. Let's listen to him.
The time has come for us to lift the gloom, to restore confidence, and to build again. And as I said in my inauguration, Ghana is open for business again. Let this summit mark the beginning of a new compact between the public and private sectors, a compact of mutual accountability, shared risks, and shared rewards. Together we can lead Ghana's economic reset, and in doing so lay the foundations for a more prosperous, inclusive, and secure future for our people. I thank you all for your kind attention, and may God bless our homeland, Ghana. But happy to see all of you in a different capacity today. Nana Akufo-Addo would have said, levels don't change. So good morning, and I'm happy to be here as the President of the Republic of Ghana. I have just a short statement, and it is my honor and pleasure to address you at this year's CEO Summit, an event that has over the years become the foremost platform for strategic thinking and engagement and public-private partnerships. It brings together the nation's most influential economic actors, and it is heartening to note how your community has maintained your resolve even through the trying times of the recent past. This year's theme, Leading Ghana's Economic Reset, Transforming Business and Governance for a Sustainable Futuristic Economy, could not have been more appropriate. It challenges us to examine where we have come from, acknowledge where we have faltered, and above all, define where we must go as a nation. Today, I wish to structure my remarks around two broad ideas. The first is talking about a reset that is anchored in past reforms and achievements, particularly from our previous administration, that were either abandoned or undermined, leading to costly reversals. And so that's going down the path of history. The second is a reset for the future, one that embraces innovation, transparency, and shared growth. A reset designed to restore confidence and elevate our economy through bold but responsible leadership. So let us begin with where we lost our footing, because it is said that for those who don't learn the lessons of the past, they are bound to make the same mistakes. Between 2013 and 2016, my administration took bold steps to deepen Ghana's domestic and external financial markets. Under ministers like Dr. Kwabena Dufo and later Mr. Setekwe, who we are privileged to have here with us, and in partnership with the central bank and commercial banks, we introduced medium and long-term domestic bonds, listed them on the Ghana Stock Exchange, and operationalized the Central Securities Depository to improve transparency and liquidity. We went further. Ghana became one of the few African countries to issue a $200 million denominated domestic bond, a strategic innovation that supported our smart borrowing initiative. And I'm happy to say that bond was oversubscribed. Simultaneously, we accessed external capital markets responsibly. From 2013 to 2016, Ghana issued 4 Eurobonds, all without default. And these were anchored in a sinking fund mechanism designed to ensure repayment. We applied over 335 million from our oil-funded sinking fund to settle maturing Eurobond liabilities. We refinanced the $200 million HIPIC-era 2007 Eurobond through our 2015 World Bank guarantee. We applied over 335 million from our oil-funded sinking fund to settle maturing Eurobond liabilities. We refinanced the $200 million HIPIC-era 2007 Eurobond through our 2015 World Bank guaranteed bond. And before we left office, we left sufficient reserves, enabling the next administration that came after us to pay off the balance in 2017 of the 2007 bond without distress. Ladies and gentlemen, this was not magic. It was just discipline and it was foresight. Tragically, this architecture was dismantled. Between 2017 and 2022, debt accumulation skyrocketed, and yet the framework to ensure repayment was abandoned. As a consequence, Ghana defaulted on both the domestic and external debts, a first in our post-independence history. Investors, businesses, and pensioners suffered crushing losses through the domestic debt exchange program, with crude haircuts eroding trust in the financial system. Ghana's credit worthiness was downgraded to junk status, and public sector arrears ballooned, and SMEs were squeezed out of the credit market. This was not simply a matter of global shocks. Other countries with smaller resource bases managed their recoveries much better than us. In our case, poor fiscal management, opaque collateralization of statutory funds, and disregard for procurement and accountability rules were major contributory factors. The results are visible: a loss of access to capital markets, both domestic and foreign, the collapse of investor confidence, and a shrinking private sector unable to plan, invest, or expand. Let us be honest with ourselves. A true reset must begin by learning from what worked and what was recklessly abandoned. And so the first thing to look at is, how do we lead a reset for the future, a path to recovery and resilience? Distinguished participants, despite these challenges, I remain optimistic. Ghana has what it takes to recover, not by repeating the past mistakes, but by learning from it and innovating for the future. Let me outline 8 key pillars of the economic reset that we envisage. Number 1 is completing the IMF program with discipline. We'll continue the discipline in government expenditure and borrowing and work to achieve all targets under the extended credit fund with a program with the IMF. We expect to conclude the 4th review of the IMF program in June 2025, with a target to exit at the end of the program in 2026. And thereafter, we'll participate in Article 4 consultations and adopt the policy support instrument framework, signaling Ghana's return to responsible, non-borrowing engagement with the fund. And the second is reopening domestic and international capital markets. We're working to reopen Ghana's bond market in collaboration with the IMF and our development partners, the Ghana Stock Exchange and local banks. However, future borrowing will be linked to self-financing commercially viable projects, particularly by MDAs, MMDAs, and SOEs, ensuring value for money and sustainable repayment. The third is strengthening sovereign funds and local government financing. We'll amend the Public Financial Management Act and Constitution to make contributions to the sinking and stabilization funds mandatory. It will not be optional. So a certain percentage of funds must be committed to the sinking and stabilization funds. We also intend to empower MMDAs to issue infrastructure and municipal bonds secured against a portion of their district assemblies common fund to fund infrastructure projects such as roads, schools, water systems, and local industry in the districts. And the fourth is clearing verified arrears and rationalizing public investment. The Auditor General is completing an audit of arrears and commitments, government commitments, and we expect to receive his report by the end of May. We'll then commence to clear legitimate arrears transparently and enforce commitment controls through the gift mix and the IPSAS-based accounting systems. New projects will be prioritized based on need, funding availability, and alignment with our national interest. And the fifth is accelerating public financial management reforms, and we have started that already. We amended the PFMA to include fiscal responsibility clauses. We'll reactivate stalled reforms, including the Treasury Single Account TSA, the Integrated Tax Administration System, and real-time budget monitoring tools to improve efficiency, reduce waste, and to curb corruption. And the sixth is revitalizing exports through Ghana Exim Bank. The Ghana Exim Bank will be repositioned to support non-traditional exports and agro-processing, light manufacturing, and SMEs, enhancing foreign exchange inflows and creating jobs in the real economy. Our Agriculture for Economic Transformation agenda will also roll out massive investments in oil palm, in cocoa, cashew, shea, and other high-value tree crops. With two of our major export commodities, gold and cocoa, enjoying a good run in international markets, we will build our reserves and buffers to create the resilience to withstand any future global shocks. And then the seventh is building Ghana into a regional hub for trade and investment. We envision Ghana as West Africa's commercial, transport, and digital services hub. Our reset will prioritize port expansion, financial services, health, education, and industrial corridors, linking Ghanaian business to the African Continental Free Trade Area and beyond. And then 8 is resuming infrastructure development to stimulate growth. Infrastructure investment is not optional. We'll resume priority projects in the roads, energy, water, housing, and urban renewal sectors, not through reckless borrowing, but through innovative financing systems like the Big Push, PPPs, and other strategic partnerships. So now, what does this reset mean for business? Distinguished CEOs, this reset will only succeed with the private sector at its core. We're restoring macroeconomic stability not as an end in itself, but as a platform for private investment. And in that regard, we will ensure policy predictability to enable medium and long-term planning for you. Access to credit and capital markets will not crowd you out. We'll borrow responsibly and restrain ourselves in government borrowing so that the rest of the credit is available for you to expand your businesses. Consultation with industry will occur before any major reforms are done. And finally, a fiscal environment that rewards value creation and not rent-seeking. And so, like I said, you will not only be consulted in major government policy, you will be empowered to take advantage of it. We'll institutionalize a national business consultative platform to bring government and the private sector together biannually, twice a year, for policy feedback, reform monitoring, and joint priority setting. And I'm pleased to say this was one of the promises I made to you, that we'll consult twice a year on government policy so that you give us the feedback on how it is affecting your businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2008, Ghana became a lower middle income country. That milestone was based on sound policy and institutional reforms. Today, the opportunity exists for us to move further to become an upper middle income country with a diversified economy, resilient institutions, and a dynamic private sector. To get there, we must reset, and reset with discipline, with purpose and unity. On government's part, I wish to assure you that we'll maintain the current fiscal discipline and work to maintain a conducive environment for your businesses to thrive. Let me take the opportunity to commend those of you who have responded to the Citi's appreciation by reducing prices of your products and services, and thereby passing some of the relief from the hardship to Ghanaians. And so, Oka and all of you, thank you very much. Oka and all of you, thank you very much. Those of you who have not responded yet, please pass on some of the Citi appreciation to Ghanaians. The time has come for us to lift the gloom, to restore confidence, and to build again. And as I said in my inauguration, Ghana is open for business again. Let this summit mark the beginning of a new compact between the public and private sectors.
So that's President John Dramani Mahama speaking at the 9th Ghana CEO Summit Expo in Accra. The governor of the central bank was also there, Dr. Johnson Isiaman. Let's listen to what he had to say.
Colleagues, we are not here simply to review macroeconomic progress. Rather, we are here to reflect on what it will take to transform a reset economy into a resilient, into a forward-looking enterprise ecosystem. Colleagues, we meet not just as policymakers and private sector actors, but as co-architects of Ghana's next economic chapter. And that is what I hope will guide our deliberations at this forum today. Colleagues, when I assumed office as governor earlier this year, barely 3 months ago, I laid out 6 core priorities that should guide the bank's work. And permit me to recall these. The first was to establish a modern, transparent, and predictive monetary policy framework. The second was to ensure a credible foreign exchange market, a market that is anchored in sound reserves and reduced volatility. The third priority was to strengthen regulation to ensure a stable yet responsive banking system. The fourth priority that I mentioned was to ensure that innovation and inclusion through fintech, through digital finance, and regulatory transformation become the order of the day. The fifth was to ensure an alignment between monetary and fiscal policies without compromising the Bank of Ghana's independence. And finally, was to restore the Bank of Ghana's own balance sheet strength to preserve long-term institutional credibility. Colleagues, these priorities reflect not just institutional responsibility, but the demands of our time. The Bank of Ghana must be clear in its purpose, it must be consistent in its actions, and it must be transparent in its operations. We have to communicate better, we have to regulate smarter, and we have to engage more. So for us at the Bank of Ghana, these are not abstract goals. They are the foundation for which building a financial and economic environment where you as business leaders can plan, can invest, can grow, and can lead. They are what underpin confidence in the city, in interest rate direction, and in the policy rule book. This vision is also grounded in the belief that monetary stability is not an end in itself. It is a platform for transformation, and that transformation must come from the private sector. Colleagues, let me give you a sense of where we are today in the reset journey. Our growth prospects remain strong based on data, recent data, as our real sector indicators are all pointing to a pickup in economic activity, and these are largely driven by exports, by credit to the private sector, and by construction activities.
So that was the governor of the central bank, Dr. Johnson Esiama. Earlier you had President John Dramani Mahama. That's how we end tonight's edition of Eyewitness News, which came to you from our studios in Accra. I am Umaru Sandamado. I did this with Akosia Otri. Production by Kobina Wilson, Beverly London, Sami Wiafe, and Juliana Odamia Sari. Technical support from Daniel Squashi. New media support from Emmanuel Osu. We'll be back tomorrow at 17:30 GMT. Thank you for listening and have a good night.